like for you growing up?
It was good. I came from a middle class background. I went to Catholic school, sports, to mom and pop. I'll be the last person you could think based on the data that I went to selling drugs. Went to Tilbury University. Yeah.
Okay. What made you join the organization known to some as the Junior Black Mafia or JBM?
Well, it really happened by coincidence. It really happened by coincidence. It really happened where you knew about the JBM and you was able to get in. It wasn't how it goes. It was me knowing a mutual friend named Mark, and then Aaron knowing him, and then from that's how I got into Junior Black Mafia. But really by coincidence.
See, some of the questions kind of cover each other. Because say, how did you meet the guys? How did you meet the guys in the organization? Like if you want to elaborate, like how did you meet Mark?
Well, I met Mark through a mutual friend. It was older than me, and so he put me with him because he was younger. Because we was like riding motorcycles, stuff like that. Okay. So for me riding motorcycles, me and Mark used to ride bikes together, and from that we started, doing whatever, just hanging together, became friends, and then from that it escalated to us doing other things.
You said you went to Temple, so what kind of like grades was you getting? And
I was doing all right. I was getting like a 3-point average.
Okay.
Like average grades. I wasn't.
What was you taking up?
I was taking out actually criminal justice. Yeah. But I never. I was only there for like 18 months, so it never became where it got to be. I got to look at it for my major.
Did you stop going to Temple because of you joined the organization?
No, I really actually stopped going to Temple because my father had a bar.
Okay.
And I was working for my father, and then based on that, I wanted my own money.
Okay.
So I wasn't patient. So as a result, for me working with my father and then seeing different things, that stopped me from going to school. And then I started doing what I was doing.
What do you think made the organization different from other organizations that was around at that time?
Well, the first thing is that we was friends. We didn't look at it. There's no animosity. There's no little U's, big U's. It was definitely just friendship first, and then we made money after that. And it was, I guess, the unique thing about it was that when we got to adversity later on, none of us told. So that's the main thing about being an organization, that the first thing you have to start off with is friends first. Being a brother to somebody. More so than you just getting money with somebody. Because you just utilize that aspect of it. Then when adversity hits you, it's going to be some jealousy and envy. So I give Aaron the credit for that, because the people that he picked to be in an organization, he already knew a little bit about. So he was a good judge of character. So that's character be number one thing. So
mostly anybody who usually came in had to be handpicked by him.
Correct. He had to handpick you. Yes. And then from say like he picked Mark, but then Mark had me, my man Skip, and Ski, and then he already knew of us. He didn't really know us, but he went on Mark's word that they could be in him, but they had to start from one person to go to somebody else.
Why do you think no one told on each other?
Well, that's a good question. I think the only thing I can think of is I'm gonna do me, as far as myself. When I got indicted, I never really, everything I ever did was my choice. It was never this person's fault or that person's fault, or this person's fault. So everything that I ever got into, I always wanted to be, a man about everything I did. So, and that's the kind of guys that the M was about. All of us was men. We was all individuals, and collectively, we was, the chain was real strong collectively. But individually, we all had our own minds, and we was all individuals, had our own style. So when adversity hit you, we had the same mindset that we wasn't gonna be rats. So that's all I can really tell you. From one man to the next.
Now, I was told before that you all didn't necessarily come up with that name, that it was kind of just like put on you. The name was really, see, Aaron was a little bit older than me, so he knew about the Black Mafia. So when he formulated the group, he said the Junior Black Mafia. I guess if somebody came up now and said, let's form a group, they would call it the Baby Black Mafia. Maybe that's the concept, I guess, that somebody would have to make up that name. When I was thinking BM3.
Yeah. That would be all right. So
thought of that name, and it just went from that.
Now, it was always a rumor that, I don't know how true it is, that many of the Junior Black Mafia were offspring or relatives of the original Black Mafia. Is that true?
That's false. I don't know anybody that was affiliated with the Junior Black Mafia, who I was affiliated with, that was relatives of anybody in Black Mafia. That's some more peanut gallery stuff where people made allegations with no facts and just put that out there and people run with it. So, no.
What about connection with the original? Was anybody?
No. Well, you have to understand, the Black Mafia were a lot older than us. Most of us got down at 65. Most of our age was maybe average. Average-wise, we were 35. So you're talking about 30-year difference, 25-year difference. Number two, most of the Black Mafia were in jail. So we didn't know anybody in jail.
Right.
None of us.
Okay.
None of us in the Junior Black Mafia were going to prisons visiting their relatives or friends who was incarcerated. None of us. We knew people was incarcerated, but none of our relatives
Right.
were in jail.
Today, from the outside looking in, where do you think the game's changed at? The whole drug game.
Well, the game's different now because fake sells. People can be informants or rats and come out and people still deal with them. They can come out with a book, True to the Game, and people think that that's real. The person who wrote it is real. It's authentic. People can have jewelry or cars and think that they're better than you because you have Volkswagen. So basically, I think that's what's changed, where people don't know what thorough is.
Right. They don't judge your character anymore.
They don't judge character. It's all on the exterior. How much money you put out your pocket? How many Ace of Spades bottles you bought? That makes you thorough.
Did you ever have a problem with any other people outside the crew that may have been friends of yours, but now that you're, in another crew, that you
Well, it's always been, when you're from one neighborhood, there'll always be some people that looks at you as maybe not as an outsider, but Derrick is now with these guys, and Derrick from this way. I was from the clan from West Oak Lane, so but growing, you have to understand, for me it was a little bit different because I never gang war. That was past me. That got before my time.
Yeah.
And then I never got arrested as a juvenile.
Right.
So I never was really in illegal activity until the age of like maybe 19 or 20.
Okay.
So that's the difference with me. So when people looked at me, they didn't only knew me from playing basketball and stuff like that. They didn't know about the legal activity. So that was something new.
Prior to the organization, did you have any? Did you already know basically about the drug game? Did you have any hand in already?
No.
So you learned once you got.
I learned once I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. I went from an ounce to 36 ounces.
Okay. And like I know the Junior Black Mafia were all around Philly. They they were people in different areas, uptown, West Philly, Southwest, North, South.
No.
No South.
No South Philly.
No South Philly. Okay. Well, when you all did what you did, like, what kind of things did you do? I know when I was growing up in Southwest,
Right.
We partied at places like High Rollers and stuff like that, and we would see brothers in there like Bucky and this and that. What all did y'all do when y'all was getting money? What kind of things did you
Well,
do?
again, the whole thing with us was that we went to fights and stuff like that, but basically
What fight?
Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns fight.
Okay. No Tyson.
Tyson fights.
No Tyson. Okay.
No. What basically we just stayed to ourselves.
Okay.
Because everybody, collectively we did, but individually we had our own ways. Like we didn't take a lot of pictures.
Right.
Because they were from different areas. People don't understand. It was never 28 of us together.
Right.
It only might be 4 of us together or 5 of us together. I mean, it wasn't these meetings and all this, stuff that people think, TV stuff that has to happen.
Right.
It was basically if you knew Aaron, and that's all I had to do was talk to him, and then that was it.
Right.
We didn't know people. We didn't know the other members, of course.
Mm.
We would be together, but never to go.
You said you didn't know the
No, we did
Oh,
know.
you did know. Okay.
We did know them, but not where we would go anywhere.
Right.
They said they go, Junior Black Mafia.
Okay.
It wasn't like that. The people it was like a secret society, but it wasn't.
Right.
Because people knew who he was, but it wasn't broadcast like we would go, ride down the street with a Volvo and a BMW or a Mercedes behind one another. No, there they go right there.
Right.
No, it really wasn't like that. And we didn't really go to parties.
Right.
So we was
Because basically it was a lot of
we just rode around the streets.
affiliation, people who were affiliated with the M, you know what I mean, that, were, I think, doing more of the flossing than anything else. Because like when you were just talking about that basic caravan.
I think that what happened was people was talking about it because it was a lot of articles in the newspaper. So with that we got notoriety. And they said we were guys with rings and we drove these, European cars. And we had tire cars with Junior Black Mafia, and then we had MCM jackets. If you saw us, you knew we were different based on how we looked, how we dressed.
Right.
But as far as like going to party, things of that nature, people knew. They would say they Lil D and M or Mark or whatever. But it wasn't. I guess, like I said, the notoriety came from newspapers.
Right.
That's basically how.
Yeah, like you were talking about the caravans. Like
Right.
I've seen caravans, but it was all it was led by somebody probably from the M. But it was other cats with just nice cars.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah. See, I can't see people. What Bucky did, or what Reg did, or what other people did, might have been different because West Philly is different from uptown.
Right.
I mean, so I understand that. But
Right.
once a person gets a flyer car with rims on and all that, I mean, he gonna really beat it.
Right.
People gonna talk about him anyway.
Right. Just think he is there.
Yeah,
About this, right?
exactly.
So you were talking about the MCM jackets and this
Right.
and that. I often talk about from then to now, when we was getting money back in the day, we dressed different
Right.
compared to now. Now it's cool to just look like whatever,
Yeah, it's more casual now.
Right.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, different time. I like it a little bit now because before you had to wear gaiters and lizards and that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
Now you wear
Paul
sleeves.
Marys.
Tailor-made shit.
Right.
So definitely you have to evolve
Right.
with the times. You definitely couldn't wear that now and
Right.
think that
Right.
you that boy.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we get in the thorough, it's like,
That's the key. You have to evolve.
Yeah, right.
But not with the character. See, the character stays the same.
Right.
But the clothes and the cars, things of that nature.
Right.
You have to evolve for that, no
Right.
doubt.
When you said you didn't take pictures, was there a reason why you all didn't take a lot of pictures?
Yeah, it's just how you think about stuff after it's over with. Yeah, well, I wish we took some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But when we went to places, we never looked at it like that.
Right.
I mean, I think about pictures now. Only reason why I think about pictures now is because I went to prison.
Right.
I mean, I wish I had some pictures of the times I had just, the past.
Right.
I mean, so now I always have pictures.
Right.
Wherever I go, I take pictures.
Right.
And because people in prison, because I want to send them the pictures and share those moments with them.
Right.
But when you're in the moment, you don't think about no pictures.
Right.
Jay-Z ain't taking no camera around taking no pictures.
Right.
Not to compare myself to them, but
Right.
people gonna take pictures of them.
Right.
I mean, so. And not trying to compare it to them, but I'm saying
I'm
the mindset.
Right.
When you think about having the pictures, you just do it.
Were there any sad moments you think that you considered sad in your life, in that living that life at that time? Were there any moments like you wish you could rewind the clock on?
No, I don't live in metaphors. What coulda, shoulda.
Right.
Once you make that choice to be a part of whatever, something legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. You have to take the adversity and success the same. And that's why when you face adversity, then you suffer the consequences of it and you can accept it. So it's never been like sad. This really the thing was really enjoyable because again it was based on friendship. That's all I can really tell you. Based on friendship, man. You really have unconditional friendship. It's a good feeling. More so than jealousy and envy. You can't leave your money around this person. You can't leave your links here. It was never that.
Right.
You can leave money and everything around each other, man, and be there when you come back.
Right.
So that's rare today.
Right. when looking back, did you ever? Was there any clue that any indictments, anything was coming down? Did you know? Did anybody think that that it was coming where it was about to come to an end?
Well, I got it. My first case, I was the first person to get locked up. The second, I had a shooting case. So I got indicted with the feds when I was actually in prison, and I goes to like maybe 10 of us that was already in state prison when we got indicted, maybe 15, and then the other 11 or 12 was on the streets who had didn't have any cases. So I don't think it was ever like we thought we would get indicted, but you always knew that was a possibility based on what you heard as far as notoriety. You don't be in the paper 100 times, and they're not trying to put a situation against you. So that's that from just how many times was in the paper. Everything that happened, they would say was Junior Black Mafia. They had other people who they said was in Junior Black Mafia that wasn't in Junior Black Mafia. So it's obvious they was trying to create an atmosphere towards a particular group, which was us, to build a case. So that's how you're gonna build a case.
Well, it's propaganda, like
And then I'm
they
sure
say they say it's more murders now than it ever was back then, and it's like I remember the murder rate being a lot higher back.
When I left in '89, the average rate for murders then was I knew the highest rate was 500 and something. Philadelphia's nowhere near that.
Right.
So, and like I said, that has nothing to do with Junior Black Mafia. I'm just saying that's what it was.
Right.
They try to make it like that, Junior Black Mafia. So that's not. We don't. Junior Black Mafia had over 100 murders and all that kind of stuff. No. That's not a bunch of propaganda. And no more murders than anybody else had who was doing what they was doing.
How many members have you guys ever lost any members? I mean, like how many members?
Yeah, my man Lil Bucky got killed, but he got killed when I was in prison. So I would say that my man Mark he died in jail. He had a drug overdose of pancakes and syrup. So just me thinking offhand, only those two are the only people that come to mind that I know. Oh yeah, my man JC got killed when he came home from prison in 1996. So he was up Jared's bar I was telling you about, and he had a disagreement about a girl, and supposedly the dude shot him. So nothing to do with them. Just circumstances, fate.
What kind of cars you drive?
Corvettes, Volvos, Benzes, motorcycles, jet skis, land and water.
Okay. So you did jet ski. So where'd you go jet skiing at? So
Gladwin.
Gladwin?
Gladwin's like near where Iverson lives at now. Right?
Okay.
It's a lake right there.
Okay.
That you could go take your jet ski right there. We did a lot of local stuff.
Okay.
We went, like I said, with the AC, went to Vegas, but we wasn't like it is now. It's more popular now with the All-Star games. It wasn't really popular back then in our day.
Right.
It's a little bit different now.
So you think you would have did the All-Star game if it was popular again?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Aaron might have went to the fights. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was.
Well, no, what was you saying about Tyson? I cut you off. You said something about
the Tyson fight.
Okay.
I think Aaron went to the Tyson fight. Okay. I didn't go to the Tyson fight. Went to fights, things of that nature.
Right.
Only fight I remember going to was an AC with Tyson and Michael Spinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said you didn't party.
No. We basically just trying to get some money. Yeah. We thought we had enough time to party.
No.
Little did we know we didn't, but
right.
you don't really think about that.
Right. Now, how much money do you think that you were seeing accumulative?
Well, all I can say is that when I got locked up, I had like $140,000. I didn't get in the drug game until '86, and got locked up at '89. So you're talking about 2.5 years.
Okay.
So and I'm 130,000 now is probably equivalent to somebody having 500,000 with inflation. We're talking about 20 years ago.
Okay.
But no way was I on the level that Aaron was on, and Mark was on. They made way more than I made. I made money off of houses, putting coke in houses and breaking down a long way. Kids with me, Mark, and my man Ski. So then they start boarding houses up. So that killed that.
So you think that kind of changed the game a lot too? It brought the game out to the street, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it changed.
Because it started, they started taking people's houses away.
Yeah, correct. You couldn't do it like that.
Right.
You couldn't do it no more. So that definitely put a cramp in if you make money like that.
Right.
But you can take it to the corner too. I mean, people have been definitely more successful than me as far as the monetary stuff. I'm not the dude to talk to far as he made it this amount of money, all that.
Right.
No, he was just a part of it.
Right. So you think they could make as much out in the street as they could in the house?
Now?
Yeah, now.
No, it's
a whole different game.
It's a whole different game now.
Yeah.
But if you back then, the people that I knew that made money in houses, as far as volume of coke, the key is to get more. If you get an ounce, you want to get the most out of an ounce.
Right.
If you sell an ounce for $1,000, but if you bag it up, you get $3,000 off it. So you're making $2,000 off an ounce. So this times that by 36. I mean, 2,000 times 36. I mean, come on. So that's the concept. So when you take away the drug houses, then you can't do it like that, or you have to go another way, another direction, which may be on the streets, doing it on the streets now. So it's not the same as going to a house. People can switch the bags. This dude ain't gonna stay on the corner. And cops riding past. So your life expectancy is not that long if you're visible.
Right.
You have to be invisible. So.
Now, get down or lay down.
Yes.
The slogan.
Well, that was all. That is a slogan that was never correct. The real slogan was "Get down, back down, and lay down." So people say "Get down, back down." That was that itself. If you ask anybody in them, they would say that's not the slogan.
Right.
The slogan was "Get down, back down, lay down."
Now, what does that actually mean? Get down, back
Get
down.
down was get down with us.
Right.
Back down meant to do something else, and lay down meant to lay down. Well, I don't really think it meant lay down.
Right.
But that was lay down. I mean, lay down. Like
Right.
get out the way.
Right.
Or this could happen, that could happen.
Right.
So, but again, that was more of like a lyricist. Like Jay-Z saying that more so than actually, saying it, and you have to literally
Like there was love.
move out on that. You know what I mean? No, it's just a slogan.
So hyped it up more than the media hyped it up more.
Absolutely.
Than what it was supposed to be.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, if in the drug game, you have to understand, if I have drugs, you want to have it at a good price, number one. And so you want to be positive. You don't want to be negative.
Right.
Your objective was what? To get money.
Right.
Never to do anybody, harm anybody. How can you get money doing that?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
So if anybody knows Aaron or knew me or knew the people that was in Junior Black Mafia, very intelligent people. No idiots. None of us had records in itself. As far as we did years and years in jail. None of us. None of us. So all of us was hustlers. Most of us, anyway.
So it wasn't. Hey, if you ain't buying it from me, you can't buy it from nowhere
No,
else.
that's a myth, man.
Right.
That's a myth. Most coke. Anybody that knows coke, if you have 100, 200 keys, how you gonna get rid of it? On consignment.
Right.
Nobody come with money. I'm giving you coke. How could I tell you get down, back down, lay down on that premise if I'm giving you coke with no money? It doesn't even sound right. It doesn't even make sense, do it? If you get down, back down, lay down, if you have money and I'm gonna take your money. I mean, or are you gonna give me 30,000 for a key of coke? I mean, that only costs 24. And back then, keys coke going for 17. So that was my number. That's what I was selling for.
A key was 17.
17,000.
How much would you get it for? You sell it for 17.
I would give it like 15.
How did you? I should be right at the same time. I'm so under the flow. How did you view lawyers back then? I mean, you think lawyers played the game straight up with everybody?
Well, I had again, when you're young, you don't know about a lot of different things. You're ignorant to lawyers and objection, sustain, all those metaphors that people say in courtroom. I don't really have a lot of respect for lawyers because back, what I found out is that they use you and they tell you what you want to hear. And then when you get incarcerated, they don't even accept your phone calls. So the lawyer profession is not a profession that I could say are people that have character. Majority of them, again, not all of them. Majority ones that I know, that I dealt with, it was always some, you know, their character was shaky when the person got incarcerated. So you had to send your brothers down, and you know, as far as just writing you, communicating with you. I mean, when you was on the streets, there was always communication. As soon as you leave, it's a different ballgame. So out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Move on to the next one. I mean, so I don't have a great affection for lawyers.
Now, I was told, I don't know how true it is, I've been told by guys before, that a lot of lawyers back then, they took anything from the Rolex watches to Coke itself, just for themselves.
I mean, people that would take Rolexes, but again, when the dudes that I was hanging with, I heard of that, but the dudes, I'm speaking on first hand knowledge, the dudes that I knew, they wasn't trying to get a Rolex to a lawyer. They was trying to wear theirs.
Right.
I mean, so but they was giving them money. I mean, so, and then once they would get incarcerated, of course, the money would dry up, and then the lawyer would get, that's when you would try to sell with your assets to sustain or represent you. You know what I mean? So, you know, that happened, yes. No doubt.
Even the drugs too. They took drugs too.
Drugs, yeah, absolutely.
They call themselves quote unquote protecting you, at the same time we break the same laws that you know.
Yeah. Again, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I really don't. If they do their job, then because you know, coke is money.
Right.
Money is coke. So basically, they're accommodating you if they would accept a watch or accept drugs. You know, because that doesn't mean that they are drug dealers, but that might be a pastime for them as on a social tip.
Right.
I mean, so I don't have a problem with that. My problem was once they accepted your money or coke or whatever they accepted to retain for you to retain them, that they would, you know, see you through the process and not get, you know, funky on you when, you know, it didn't go the way it's supposed to go. Because we all knew that it could go another way.
Right.
No doubt.
What about like Jewelers down Jewelers Row? I heard they started trying to indict them and try to get them mixed up in a lot of stuff.
Well, the dude that made the rings, Barry Sable. What happened was a ring was taken from a friend of mine who was in it, and inside the ring is an insignia of the jewelers.
Okay.
So from that, they was able to trace that ring back to him. So of course, when they went back to him, he couldn't say he didn't make the ring because his insignia was in the ring.
Right.
So he didn't do any, you know, he just told that he made the rings. I mean, as far as him being a accomplice or that, you know, you go down there, you go to a jeweler, you get anything you want made. We got the money. So Barry Sable didn't. There's no negative towards him.
Right.
No.
So that's the only place the ring could be made at, through Barry Sable.
Well, he made all the rings.
Right.
So in order to, and he said he made all the rings. He told him how many rings he made.
Right.
I'm just saying that it was his signature was in the ring. So when Aaron got the rings, he got the rings made by the same person.
Right.
Because he would give you the ring if he was in there. That's the initiation. That, you know, I guess it could be if the word initiate was in it. He would give you a ring when he thought that you know was in there.
Now you didn't have to wear the ring all the time. You just
No, we did though.
Yeah.
We did. I never took it off until that situation happened, hit the papers, and then we all took our rings off because the cat was out the bag now. So you didn't want to get caught with a ring because now law enforcement now is looking for people with those type of rings on. So you didn't want to be caught with the ring.
So what happened to everybody's rings? Let's just throw that question there. Wait, I mean,
I took it back to the jeweler and he melted them. He said that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He melted them. Yeah. So there's no rings even out because they're melted. Like I said, once the person got his ring taken, then there was no more ring. That was the wrap. And we see because we saw it was going somewhere else,
Right.
where it could be criminal.
Right. Criminal just wearing a ring.
He's wearing the ring.
Yeah, because
Right.
that's what it was. That's got a word for that. A legal terminology for that. Racketeer.
Well, what I mean by being criminal is that by you having a ring on, and then I'm trying to say you was in a criminal enterprise.
Right. Exactly.
Then they will group
RICO
you up.
statute.
RICO statute, right?
Right,
Correct.
right.
Exactly. So even though we got indicted with RICO without the rings, but that would have made it easier for them.
Right.
Because remember, the ring doesn't really mean anything. Like when people get on the stand, they are going to conform a racketeering based on them saying you was this dude getting coke from this person. Then this person says, then they put the dots together. So that's where you have racketeering.
Right.
Like people say, well, you don't take no pictures. No, that really doesn't matter. If you take pictures, you don't take pictures. But that means you're not gonna get indicted. That doesn't mean that.
Right.
When you wore a ring, you didn't wear a ring. That doesn't mean you're indicted. I'm just saying, for we actually had rings, and from that happening, we found that somebody got a ring taken, which was law enforcement taking it. Then we no longer was going to wear the ring. Because I guess he found out, they came to question him or whatever, and then he of course told that to Aaron, and then of course Aaron knew it wasn't cool to wear the rings no more. You know, like somebody saying you shot somebody using a Range Rover, so you're not going to drive the Range Rover. You know, get out of it. I mean, so real simple.
There was one incident, I was reading an article, I don't know who it was. They said he was a Junior Black Mafia member. Some incident with a snowball or something like that. Somebody hit somebody's car or something like that. Now, were they affiliate or were they?
Yeah, that case there, I can't touch that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I kind of printed out a whole bunch of different.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the case you're talking about. I can't talk about it.
Right. It's cool. Was there any particular car dealerships that you all went to, or you just went to whatever?
Yeah.
Any place y'all wanted to go, y'all just went?
Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember they were saying, like I said, everything's rumor because, like I said, the story's never been told before, so it's like street rumor.
I mean, you got money, go anywhere you want.
Right.
You know, when we was out, wasn't no plated cars.
Right, exactly.
Well, it was.
You didn't know about it, right? Because you got them know, right? Aaron going up to Dapper Dan's or whatever, y'all getting y'all cars.
Yeah, he did that. He was one of the first person to do that.
Okay.
I didn't do that to my car.
Okay.
But Aaron did that. He would get MCM in his cars, a couple of cars. He had a Saab that he had MCM in, and then he had a Volvo that he actually had MCM in. So he was really he liked that part. I wanted my car to be plain like
right. Okay. No tent, no nothing.
No tent, just BBS rims. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other rims that was out there? Hammers or something like that? Was it hammers? I think it was hammers. What were hammers? BBS's. A whole bunch of different rims back then.
Yeah, I can't think of the one.
My brother had. I think it was called hammers that he used to have on his Max.
5 stars. I remember those 5 star. I can't think of the name of them. And then the BBS rims, but back then, Gotti rims, they was real popular back then.
Okay.
But the number one rim when I was out was BBS's, hands down.
Okay.
3-piece BBS's. You had that, you was doing something.
Right.
No doubt.
If you had to tell the youth today, you know, about the drug game period, you know, what would you recommend to them about, you know?
Hopefully they wouldn't do it.
Right.
You know, hopefully they would learn from my mistakes, and people like me. There's a lot of me's out there who's in prison, still languishing in prison. And you have some guys that's out like myself, but that's very few. I mean, so my thing was, my sincere hope would be that they wouldn't even partake in the drug game. But that's a perfect world.
Right.
So since we don't live in a perfect world, I would say that hopefully they would know what they're getting themselves into. And if they know what they're getting themselves into, then they'll be able to accept the consequences of their actions.
That's all I got so far. You know, seemed like we ran a lot of.
You can write some of the other stuff down,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna go home. You probably be better at some of the questions.
Okay.
But I'm saying, and then I would go home and ask myself some questions. I would think, or ask them, like, I might ask my sister, somebody, what would you want to ask somebody in Junior Black Mafia? Then, right, get somebody else's perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? One of my friends, I mean, sure, I'm gonna actually call people and ask them, what would you want to ask somebody? Yeah.
Right. Because that's what we need to do. Because
Like my brother.
if we're selling this to the public,
Yeah,
there's a reason why we're watching the movie. Like, you know.
Yeah, you want to gravitate to somebody that say, yeah, let's talk to that dude.
Right.
I mean,
all right, well, I'm writing down. I'm gonna try to copy my copy machine.
so the whole thing is, like I said, we want to try to get it to somebody out here, which that can make it be, maybe like
Well, you still got the connection with 50. You know?
Yeah, I want to get it to 50.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it to 50.
Okay.
I'm trying to get with my brother to find out how to get in touch with 50. I was hoping B could find it out how to send it to 50.
Right.
Or and maybe even at the end you could say, well, what would you like to do with this little 5-minute pilot you had?
Right.
I said, well, there was one dude I met. Well, I was supposed to meet in 2006. I didn't get a chance to meet 50 Cent. So he was interested. He heard about the Junior Black Mafia, and he would be the person that I would want. Hopefully, this could strike.
You want to say that in the trailer? That's what
You can say that. Yeah. I don't know if that would be proper, improper, but how would we get it to him?
now. On one end,
Or you could ask me that question. Have you ever tried to? Did you write a movie script?
Yeah.
You ever tried to get to somebody?
Right.
That I can say, well, I tried to get to 50 Cent, but I didn't get a chance to meet him. Went down to his studio. I met Lloyd Banks. I met his manager, and then we got sidetracked, and I didn't pursue it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that you would just leave it to 50 because
then
they got beef with it, might knock somebody else away that
Right.
might want to spend some money on it.
That's real.
You know.
You can say that. Or maybe we just don't even say that. Just see where it goes.
Right, no doubt.
Because God got it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes places you didn't even think you can go, bro.
No doubt.
You need that.
No doubt. We'll work it out sometime.
We'll work it out. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So you're gonna be back before? Yeah.
I'll be here till like 3 o'clock.
All right, I'll see you before I leave out here.
What time do you leave?
As soon as I get done this, I'm going now because I gotta go do this wedding thing.
All right, no doubt.
All right.